Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Puppet Master FPV. Sorry for the mess. So, we got a lot to talk about. You ever get so worked up about things, you get like, it's hard for you to like calm down enough to organize all your thoughts about stuff? That's what I've been feeling. So, since my last video, a few things have changed for the better, for the good, one for the bad, but then good came from that, so everything's all good. The biggest thing, and let me grab both of them so I can show you what I'm talking about. So I use two different radios, and the idea of having to rebind my quads anytime I wanted to use my other radio, no bueno. Did not resonate with me with Puppet Master. So I remember watching, I think it was a Barnwell video on that you can multi-bind with Crossfire. So I was like, oh, yeah. I could, because this is my Radio Master, and I use this is anywhere that I can drive to get to and fly, I'm taking this. This is kind of like my Cadillac radio. It's big, I call it the big blue pig because it's oinky, but it's like top of the, I mean, I'm just blown away with everything this radio has. And I run Crossfire on it on top of, I can run ERLS. Gemini is already built in. I don't need a Nomad receiver or any of that shit. It's all built in. Dual antennas, 2.4 gigahertz or 915. It's got both. And with a Crossfire on the back, I have Crossfire. Full unit with Wi-Fi, and I can go up to 2 watts. So it's the luxury side of the radio. And then, but I'm not gonna, there's lots of times where I do FPV, I hike where I'm gonna go. And I don't wanna bring the big blue pig. I wanna bring this. I wanna bring the game controller, the PS TBS. And this thing is awesome. You can't compare it to the Radio Master because it's two different beasts. And yes, the gimbals are kind of feel cheap and plasticky, but the overall form factor and construction, it's just extremely efficient. It has everything you need and nothing extra, and that's just right. It's got these really cool push buttons on the side, on 2 positions push buttons. You use one for arm and one for probably GPS rescue. That's what I do. And then you have 2 3-position switches that I use all positions. So I have one position switch that is angle, acro, and beeper, and then I have another 3-position switch that in the middle is nothing, but if you go up, you will go into pit mode, and if you go down, you can turn off your and on your OSD. Pretty cool. That's all I need. Don't need anything else. So I watched the multi-bind video and then tried to do it, and it wasn't the easiest thing in the world. And let's just be totally honest. You have to go into TBS agent, and you have to do 2 main things to be able to multi-bind. You have to get both of your radios have your user ID, so you have to log in. You have to create an account with TBS and make sure both your devices are registered under you. Easy peasy. You'll get like a 4 or 5 digit ID number. And then you need to make sure both radios are set to 00. Now, I didn't have to change mine, so that made it a lot easier. But because, now with the Tango 2, it was easy peasy. I didn't have to do anything extra. But my main Crossfire transmitter, the one that's on the Radio Master, the big dog, is an old unit. I've been flying Crossfire for 6-7 years. Goddamn, 7 years I've been flying Crossfire. And this has been what I've done it on the entire time. It has Wi-Fi and stuff, but especially the older units, their Wi-Fi is in a sleep mode. I'm not making this up. This is like crazy shit you have to do. If you're like me, you have an older unit that's in sleep mode, you have to, I don't even remember what I did. I had to do something to wake it up. Okay, I woke it up, and then I was able to see in it, because you won't see, there'll be like your radio, and then there'll be a couple other things, below it. Like, it'll say Tango 2 transmitter, and then it'll say like Tango 2 Wi-Fi, and Tango 2 whatever. You won't see that if your Wi-Fi is asleep. So once you get it woken up and you can see that, then you can go in there, make sure your user ID is right and you're at 00 for the radio ID, and then you'll have the multi-bind option. So once I finally sorted all that out, it was something I was like, this will only take an hour or two tops. We'll be done with this like nothing. And then it was an entire night fiasco. Not entire night, but it took probably 2-3 hours before I finally got my Wi-Fi woken up and was able to see the and then once I had multi-bind on both radios, it was boom, 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 boom. I plugged in every quad into Betaflight, right into CLI typed, bind _RX, puts the Crossfire receiver into bind mode instantly. Turn on your radio master. It's already bound to the radio master. Turn off the radio master. Turn on the Tango 2, hit bind. It binds to it, and you do that for each and every quad. And now it doesn't matter what radio I have. I am bound to all 7. Okay, I have 7 5-inch quads, but 5 of them I'm really flying. So all 5 of my fleet is multi-bound. I have a couple that are like really old, but they're like drone time machines. I have a Schizo that's still a 4S Schizo. That's friggin' awesome. Shout out to Schizo, probably one of my favorite all-time FPV influencer. Guy who was no bullshit, did not give a F, and just and that's why he kind of disappeared like Sharpoo and so many of the other greats. So we're all multi-bound on everything, and that was the big thing that I wanted to do. So if you want to do that, you can, and if you get stuck or you have any issues, just message me. I want to help people. FPV is my thing. This is my jam. And if I can help anyone with any of their issues, that just makes me feel awesome. So any trouble you're having with anything, really, FPV related, with the exception of HD systems, because that's not my realm. I'm an analog guy. But anything outside of HD video, analog video, oh buddy, I can get you the best. If you want peak performance analog video, talk to me. We can get you set up. Not to toot my own horn, but seriously. It's like dodgeball. I'm White Goodman. Anyways, then disaster struck. Disaster struck in the worst possible way. Let me ask you, what is the worst possible thing that can happen to someone who flies FPV? In your head, you're thinking they lose a drone with an HD camera on it. And yeah, that sucks. But there is one thing that is worse than that. Breaking your goggles. Yes. I, who pride myself on how I take care of my stuff, I don't even know. Well, yeah, okay. They're broke-ish. They're not totally broke. They're broke-ish, and I'll explain that. My HDO2s need repairing. I bought years ago from IB Crazy his crazy contraption that you would put on your FatShark goggles, your HDO2s, that had dual crosshair extreme directional antennas. It was the long range coup de grace. You know, it was the ultimate long range penetrator. Don't fly behind yourself, but anything in front of you, you want to go miles out, this was your Huckleberry. And I never put it on because, honest to God, I never needed it. With a very good Omni and a Crosshair Mini, which has a freaking pretty big beam, I honestly never needed to go for the dual extreme. At anything that got fuzzy, I just had to turn my head, get better in the beam, and I'd have perfect video again. But I bought that thing, and I was like, and I'm getting it back into long range cruising. I'm like, I should put this on and try it out. So I tried. I put it on. Somehow, from putting on that antenna, because the wires, I'll show it to you, I have it right here, actually. On my, this box got, remember this thing? Remember the refrigerator you wear on your face? FatShark transformer? What do you think I flew when my goggles were broken? This baby worked great, still, to this day. Just had to clean it out, get the dust off, fire it up, and then I mounted this insane long-range antenna system on it, and I almost had, I could go long range. I mean, I was going over half a mile out, still had perfect video. It was crazy. It was just like, my God, these things were so underrated for what they were awesome. And they've become my backup FPV monitors ever since. I mean, they're just awesome. So putting on that antenna though, after I got it mounted, I went to power on my goggles. The goggles turn on, the fan turns on, I see the screens turn on, rapid fire doesn't turn on. No. Now, I was super careful, but we all know FatShark HDO2s have a history of problems with that ribbon. And you do any kind of movement that you shouldn't in there, you're gonna rip the ribbon and you're probably gonna have issues. Exactly what, you know, now my module won't power up. The goggles technically aren't broke, they just won't power up the module. So obviously that was one of the worst, you know, that ranks up there in top 5, top 10 worst days of FPV life. Having to swallow that pill was really tough. So I got out the transformers, and then I started researching every single option we had for analog goggles, because let's just not bullshit each other. There's not a lot out there right now, or everyone keeps trying to push and move into this high definition space when they're not ready, right? It's a lot of gimmicky. It's a lot of gotcha. We'll call it spicy analog, you know, but nothing is on the level of DJI. And with everything going on politically, DJI is not a potato I want to touch. You know, that's too hot. I'm not playing with that. So really, for me, analog is the only answer right now, until things either, you know, the technology needs to improve. Because for me, there's no point, sorry, I got a battery charging. There's no point in switching to a digital system if I have to sacrifice range. I'm a long range FPV pilot. So if the range isn't there, I'm not using the product, and the range is not there. Even though they'll be like, hey, we can go 4 or 6 kilometers, which is great. But on analog, with a good setup and even just the proper fusion or rapid fire module, you can go miles and miles and miles. So there's no comparison. And for what it costs compared to what I can, you know, if I blow a VTX, what that costs me, if I blow a camera. Now the goggles is the one thing that you're not saving any money. They're just as expensive as the digital ones. But I researched everything, and here's what I come up with. Now, and the video I just posted before this, I make a little rant on Orca, and I don't mean to shit on Orca. It's just not made for me. For the FPV pilot I am, Orca is a no-go. They look cool, and if they had a bigger field of view, I would already have bought them. But 37-degree field of view is a deal breaker for me, and being only in 4.3 aspect ratio, and if you go to 16:9, it crops that image and makes it even smaller, is a double deal breaker. So I'm just not gonna, no. Sky Zone. Well, the pros, their newest one seems to be a whole basket of, it's just a giant mess. Not just a little latency, like I do think the HDO Pluses probably have a little bit of latency in them, but like too much latency, like where when you're flying, you're like, there's something wrong. You feel, what does they say? Disconnected. I can think of some other words to describe the feeling, but yes. So I didn't want to get the pros. Now, the old Sky Zones were intriguing, but you're still going to pay $500 for those? I could pay less than $100 more and get the HDO Pluses. So, and then what other options? HD Zero, that's a $700 pair of goggles. And the deal breaker on that has a good analog receiver. It's mono. Look, you at least have to have two. Like, okay, you have one receiver, so I have one directional antenna. I can never fly behind no, it's just, no, it's a compromise. For me to spend $700 on a pair of goggles and you don't even have diversity? No. I don't want to hear whatever your excuse is. No, the answer is no. Walk Snail, I'm very intrigued with, and that was probably the one I was most interested in maybe pursuing. And we got into, again, the latency. Too much. And it's not that, it's just, how do I say it? It's just not mature enough. It's too immature of a product right now for me to invest that kind. For me, who has many quads, for me to invest that kind of money, I'm just not going to do it. So what else was there for me to look at? Not a lot. HDO2s, that's what I've flown for the last 7 years. That's what I'd like to keep flying. I love those. Are my favorite all-time goggles. You can't buy them. They're a legacy product. I don't even know how I'm going to get parts to repair mine that is busted. Hopefully, I've emailed FatShark twice in 2 days. Well, hopefully they'll get back to me soon and let me know what the deal is. I want to buy like 3 or 4 of those ribbon cables if I can, to repair it and then have backup. But there just isn't anything out there for us. But when you look on the spec sheet, the FatShark Plus, HDO Plus, was a home run. 50-degree field of view, 1080p resolution, OLED screens. The classic, I love the FatShark goggles. They fit, I don't have some weird Quasimodo deformed face. They fit me perfectly. Love them. Best goggle I've ever worn. Not interested, have no complaints. And especially like if you put the Max Comfort from Newbie Drone on them, it'll be the most comfortable goggle you'll ever wear in your life. I'm not kidding. The softest, like this weird neoprene material. It's just, it's the best. You can have them on all day. You won't mind. But that's what I did. I settled in. I bought the HDO Plus. Then I'm waiting for it to get here for a couple days, and then I come across Nil's video shitting all over my new analog FPV purchase, and I was quite distraught. I was quite upset. I thought to myself, what did you do? You bought a goggle that had so much latency, it's unflyable. I was like gonna put my head through a wall. I'm like, there's nothing to get. We're screwed. And then I was like, talking myself off the ledge. Could it be that bad? I mean, they wouldn't release, you can't release the product. I mean, FPV, they can, they think they can. But FatShark, They had to have learned their lesson the few times they have dropped a product that wasn't ready. I don't believe it. What if FatShark is just like not cool anymore and people just like to S all over them, but really they're the best thing we got, especially for analog. I think that's the case. And I don't care who FatShark is selling to. People gotta, I mean, geez, we can't have these childhood mentality about stuff. We're capitalism, okay? No communism. Get out of here with that crap. Capitalism, you're gonna sell to whoever's buying. Yeah, it sucks. People are using our drones to kill people. Yeah, that sucks. But do you understand how technology works in war and that this is just a natural evolution of things? I mean, I knew when I got into FPV, I'm like, holy crap, just thinking about the potential war applications with the things we were doing, and I was like, dude, when people figure this out, that's going to be it. There's no infantry anymore. I'm ex-infantry, okay, military, and I don't know if you're aware of what's going on in Ukraine anymore. They're not shooting each other anymore. They're just flying drones into each other. That's like 90% of the casualties. Warfare is changing as we know it, and unfortunately, whether we like it or not, they're taking our hobby and turning it into the ultimate killing machine. Now, there's a fear that and for the short term, yes, they're going to be eating up our gear and it's going to suck. That's short term. I think, the military industrial complex is not going to just keep eating up hobby equipment. They're going to just make their own. Okay? And I do think prices will come down and stabilize with time. But I'm getting sidetracked. Let me circle back here. So I bought the HDO Plus. My HDO 2s are broke-ish because what I found was even though when you plug in the goggle, it won't, the goggle turns on, but the module won't. If I run a mini USB cable from a power source, like a power bank, and just plug it in to the module and then power up my goggles, it works. I'm good. I mean, it's not the best. It's okay. It's kind of janky, but if I wanted to use my HDO 2s still, I can. The only thing is you'd have to, because this will not fit over it and still have access to the plug. So what I would do, I'd take a piece of foam and then tape the foam over the module so it can't fly out while you're doing your thing. Janky, I get it. Some people say jerry-rigged. I'm like a level 10, Jerry. I can do this stuff. I'm really good at it. I think of things and I just make them work. There's always a way to get around, So, okay, we're at 23 and a half minutes. This is a long one. Now, I'm going to add it, when we're done here, I'm going to give you one flight from today with the HDO 1 Pluses. I flew 5 packs. Right after the first pack, I was like, this is BS. These goggles are amazing. I'm flying exactly how I always fly. And not only was I flying exactly how I always fly, I gained confidence because the picture was so good, the reception was so good. I put a TBS Fusion, so now I have 2 modules. I got a rapid fire and a Fusion. I had never used a Fusion before in my life, but it gave me some of the most crystal clear, perfect video today that I've ever seen. And I sent the Nazgul, my one ready to fly that I didn't build, because that's the one, honestly, if I'm gonna lose a quad, that'd be the one I'd cry least about, because all the other ones I've built, they have my soul in them. And I sent the Nazgul on the longest ridgeline, 1.5 mile out run that I've done since I got back in the hobby, my longest distance flight. I mean, it was so good. It was even better than my HDO2s and my Rapid Fire from what I remember. I mean, it was close, but I think it was even better. So 5 packs, that gives me 2 different quads. That gives me a real good feel of the goggles, and I'm going to be flying a ton more packs tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that. So I will have a lot more to say about the goggles, but so far they're freaking amazing. You get the picture, it's bigger. It's only 4 degrees or 6 or 4 degrees bigger than the HDO2s, but it feels like 10 degrees bigger. Like it's a much, I was seeing things in the goggles that I wouldn't have seen before, because it's like a total picture. Really easy, the coolest focus adjusters and interpupillary distance. Like you can change if you got the freak wide eyes or the tiny beady narrow eyes. You can have both. Everyone gets to wear, see good out of these goggles, and it has these picture modes, which like on your big screen TV, you have your standard picture mode, and then you have a bright mode. Like maybe if the sun is coming in through a window behind you and you can't see your TV so good, so you can turn it bright, or maybe you're flying at dusk. This is what I like today. I was flying at sunset and dusk, so I turned on bright mode, and it was like I didn't have to crank up the brightness or anything. It was just like I can see everything now. And then, sorry, I gotta go swap batteries. There's a vivid mode, and it's analog, but I'm telling you, when I just powered it on with the newbie drone camera, the Phoenix 2 that I got, it looked like HD in my house. I was just like, the picture was better than anything I'd ever seen in analog. I'll say that. So I'm happy. I'm super relieved. Is there latency? Yeah, probably a little, I'm sure. Not enough. If you're like into a beginner, intermediate, and even to an advanced pilot, I think most likely these goggles you're gonna love them. Now, if you're an advanced pilot and you're, super into like crazy bando and dropping down insane gaps, like literally like you're doing insane stuff with your drone on a regular basis, maybe you would notice this tiny bit of latency. But I think the vast majority of FPV pilots are going to absolutely love these goggles. And as far as what is available right now in 2026 for an analog goggle, HDO Plus for me is your no-brainer choice. I wouldn't go with anything else, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm ecstatic about them. So I'll let you know what I hear from FatShark, because we're going to get these repaired, the HDO2s. I'm not selling them, don't even ask. And we're gonna, those will be the backup. Plus I'm trying to get my son to jump into FPV with me, because it's such a great hobby. And these could be his goggles, and I could just, he was always like against, because I get it, 5-inch quads are kind of intimidating, but I was like, how about I get us some tiny whoops, and we start like, racing and just gorilla whooping and doing fun stuff with them together. And he was like, yeah, that sounds cool. So I was like, yeah, all right. So I'm gonna get my son hopefully into FPV. We're gonna try. But yeah, we'll just take a look at them real quick. I'll show you. It's the classic form factor. Looks like every other FatShark goggle we pretty much ever had. Has an actually working power button now, so you'll plug in, the power will not come on. You will push the power button, goggles come on, fan is annoyingly high. I will switch that when I figure out how. We're still learning. And push the power button again, the goggles turn off. You don't have to keep doing that thing with your plug all day. That's cool. That's cool. Just plug it in once when you start flying. Take the plug out at the end of the day. You don't have to be plugging it in and out a million times while you're flying. HDMI input. You got headphones. This is for receiver, on or off. And I think that's it for basically there. There's your little twister dials, which are really cool. And I'll show you the inside. For the stock neck strap, I don't hate it. It's much better than the older ones. It actually fits my head comfortably, and the battery stays in it. So kudos for that. Yeah. So yeah, not cheap. Not cheap. But as far as if you're looking for a premium analog goggle in 2026, I know they're going to try to say these have too much latency. I don't see or feel that at all. I fly exactly the way I want. I do tight lines a foot off the ground, going, high speed, fly around trees, do my tricks and stuff, and go in between trees and other gaps and stuff, and I didn't have any issues. I don't know. I would tell you if I did. I was terrified that I made the mistake buying these. I don't. I think they're freaking awesome. Way to go, FatShark. I love them. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna now give you the clip of my best pack today when I flew the Nazgul on the super long flight up the ridge and all over the place. It's a crazy flight. Raw, unedited. It's like a 4.5 minute flight. I know, a little long, but I didn't want to make any cuts. I just want you to see this is just one flowing flight. So thanks for watching Puppet Master FPV.